That's the main reason you might have tested a product in the past and you're like, oh, it's working, and then all of a sudden it starts dying off. This month we spent just over $109,000 on Facebook ads, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the 3 biggest lessons I learned in order to be able to scale profitably. The very first thing that I want to talk about is going to be creative testing. Now, if you've been watching my channel and my other content, you've been hearing me say this a lot. The reason I talk a lot about creative testing, and the reason we're going to first talk about it, is because it's absolutely crucial in order to be able to get higher scale. You have to have content that is constantly fresh in you, that you can cycle in with content that is fatiguing. That's why, all right? So here's how I approach it. I typically do a new creative testing campaign each month. You can see this is the one that I have here for August. In August, we tested over 44 ad sets. Each of these has 3 to 5 pieces of content. That's well over, I would say, 150 ads that we tested this month. Now, here's another pretty crazy thing. Out of all those ads, only the ones that you see selected here were worth running. These here, because I tested and was able to identify them, I can now take them and move them into my scaling campaigns. If you leave scaling campaigns on for too long with the same ads, they're going to at one point start fatiguing and burning out. That's the main reason you might have tested a product in the past and you're like, oh, it's working, and then all of a sudden it starts dying off, especially if you've put a good amount of ad spend behind that ad. So it's absolutely necessary to identify new creatives every single month that are working, that you can cycle in and put ad spend behind. The next thing that I want to talk about here, we're actually going to go ahead and write it down, is after you do your creative testing, you're going to want to take these and you're going to want to consolidate them, right? You're going to want to take the best creatives that you've tested and you're going to want to consolidate them in one spot where they can pretty much fight each other, right? To identify what's going to be the best creative that Facebook can spend your money on and get you a good return. And I found that the best way to do this is going to be through a CBO campaign. This is now called Advantage Campaign Budget, sorry. And you can just turn it on when you're creating a new campaign. Essentially, it sets the budget on the campaign level. You can see here, $900 is the daily budget. And every single day, it takes that budget and it splits it within your ad sets to where it believes you're gonna have the highest return. I like to take all of the ads that I'm doing in my creative testing and then dump them right into a CBO or Advantage Campaign Budget that is allowing them now to compete against each other and say, okay, on any given day, where can I shuffle more ad spend to? And a good visual representation of this is, let's just say I have ad 1 and ad 2, and then one day, we see better performance on ad 1. Well, this campaign, this CBO campaign, is going to shuffle more money to that ad 1. Now, let's just say that the next day, ad 2 is getting more of that target demographic that's responding to ad 2 is on Facebook. So now this CBO is shuffling more of your ad spend to ad 2. What does that allow you to do? It allows you to be more efficient, right? So that's the very second thing that I wanted to check at you guys in terms of a tip. Consolidate. You're going to see better performance in the long run. The next thing I want to talk about is something we recently talked about on the YouTube channel that you can go ahead and watch, which is retargeting. So retargeting is super slept on. So you can see here my Facebook ads retargeting strategy that prints. Go watch that if you haven't already. It's super slept on, but it's getting us some of the best cost per acquisitions in the account. You can see here we got 308 purchases this month from our retargeting campaign, middle of funnel retargeting, at a $29 cost per acquisitions, which is absolutely fantastic for us. And you can watch that video if you'd like my setup, but I highly recommend you're at least hitting that audience that has engaged with your ads, visited your website, potentially added to cart, but not purchased yet. If you want other Facebook ad tips from my trial and error, you can check them out at Ecom Live. Just filter by this Facebook tab here, and you can see a bunch of other content and a bunch of other tips that I've put together through the years. With that said, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys benefited, and I'll catch you later. Take it easy.